Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for October 22nd. I've been having a little computer difficulty getting into iMovie to edit my videos. And so I'm going to try this going live thing. We'll see how it goes. So, welcome to this day in history for October 22nd. October 22nd is the 295th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 296th in leap years, with 70 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is somber. Somber is an adjective that means dark, gloomy, dull or dark in color, melancholy, dismal, serious, grave. Somber comes to us from French and Latin before that. I'd like to take a moment to mention that links to my research are included in the show notes, and I know they are because I put them there. I would ask you to go ahead and click that like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I would say stay to the end for outtakes, but since this is live, I don't see how we can do that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Remember that you can share this video with others with the link in your email, messaging, or social media. And yes, there is a link in the show notes to my This Day in History playlist. And once it processes, then I'll make sure and put it in the iCard up there in the corner. And with that, we're going to start on October 22nd, 794. When Emperor Kenmu relocated the Japanese capital to Heian-kyo, now Kyoto. This was the official capital of Japan for over 1,000 years, from 794 to 1868, with an interruption in 1180. Pardon me. Tokyo is now the capital of Japan since 1868. The College of New Jersey received its charter on October 22nd, 1730. It was later renamed Princeton University. I got a happygram from Etsy. I wasn't thinking about that happening. Let's see if we can make that be quiet. There we go. See, in this case, the outtakes stay right in the middle of the video. Alrighty, where were we? Russia founded a colony on Kodiak Island, Alaska on October 22nd, 1784. The first recorded parachute jump took place in Paris, October 22nd. I did that the last time. The first recorded parachute jump took place in Paris on October 22nd, 1797. This is the birthday of Hungarian pianist and composer Franz Liszt, born October 22nd, 1811. I found a version of his Hungarian Rhapsody that I've linked in the show notes for you. He lived to the age of 74. Sam Houston was inaugurated as the first president of the Republic of Texas on October 22nd, 1836. This was back when Texas was a republic, like independent on its own, before it became a state of the United States. On October 22nd, 1844, followers of a preacher named William Miller, these followers were called Millerites, they were expecting the end of the world on this date, along with the second coming of Christ. So many people have been disappointed throughout history. Anyway, no, it didn't happen then either, and the following day then came to be known as the Great Disappointment. This is the date of the first telegraphic connection in Argentina on October 22nd, 1875. This is the birthday of painter and illustrator N.C. Wyeth, born October 22nd, 1882. A run on the stock of the Knickerbocker Trust Company on October 22nd, 1907, set into motion a series of events that sparked the Panic of 1907. This is the birthday of American psychologist and author Timothy Leary, born October 22nd, 1920. He did some studies with hallucinogens and took them himself as well. He seems to have been a love him or hate him kind of guy. Some called him a hero of American consciousness. Others said he just liked to be the center of attention and get high. They popularized the phrase, turn on, tune in, and drop out. He also said, think for yourself and question authority. Think for yourself and question authority. There's a way of doing that without, throwing rocks and breaking glass. Think for yourself and question authority. Timothy Leary lived to the age of 75. This is the birthday of author Anne Rule, born October 22nd, 1931. I hadn't realized that she'd been a police officer. She wrote true crime novels, fascinating work. She lived to the age of 83. The bank robber known as Pretty Boy Floyd met his end on October 22nd, 1934, when he was shot and killed by FBI agents. Many years ago, when I kept chickens, I had a rooster who was really pretty. We called him Pretty Boy Floyd because he was so pretty. Floyd, what a pretty boy. But he wasn't shot and killed by FBI agents. This is the birthday of actor, comedian, and producer Christopher Lloyd, born October 22nd, 1938. You might remember him as the professor on the Back to the Future movies. Before that, he played an unusual and interesting character named Jim on the TV show Taxi. I think my favorite scene with Jim is when they're trying to repair a taxi and one of the guys says, what we need for this, what would be perfect for this would be a comb without any teeth. And Jim produces the comb without any teeth. And that was indeed exactly what they needed. They made the fix. And so they kind of stopped and said, how in the world is it that you just happen to have a comb without any teeth? And he said, I think the more important question is, why didn't you? Something to that effect. Christopher Lloyd, still alive. He turns 82 in 2020. I don't remember if I mentioned that. October 22nd, 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis. President Kennedy announced that American reconnaissance planes had discovered Soviet nuclear weapons in Cuba and that he had ordered a naval quarantine of the communist nation. Red dye No. 4 was banned by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration on October 22nd, 1976, after it was discovered to cause tumors in the bladders of dogs. No good. On October 22nd, 1983, 2 correctional officers were killed by inmates at the United States Penitentiary in Marion, Illinois. One outcome of this incident was the design of Supermax model prisons. On October 22, 2005, Tropical Storm Alpha formed in the Atlantic Basin, making 2005 the most active Atlantic hurricane season until surpassed by the 2020 season. Thanks, 2020. As of the time of this research, we have just seen Hurricane Epsilon reach Hurricane Category 3 status. And that's all I have for you today. Looks like we're coming up on 9 minutes here. It's all I have for you today. I hope you learned something you didn't know before. I know I sure did. Always do. As always, links to my research are included in the show notes. And if I can figure out how to do it, I'll put it in the iCards up there after the video processes. Let's see what else. We have the synopsis down there. We've got the hashtags. Oh, remember that if you enjoyed this series, there's a link to a playlist of these videos. And I guess beyond that, I would say give it a like if you enjoyed it. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share if you found this interesting or informative. And I think that's it. Looks like we'll be almost, but not quite 10 minutes. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.